So thank you very much for coming. I hope you don't have the food coma after lunch. So myself, my name is Agus Rahman. I'm a technical program manager from Teams. And accompanied with me, we have Dawson Cha.
Dawson, yeah.
What's the right pronunciation again?
Dawson, yeah.
No, the last name.
Chai.
Thai. Okay. Because I think I cannot assume. I know how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
And Dawson is from Yealink. And in this session, we're going to talk about Teams Room Android security. I think we want to uncover what's the story behind that. And basically, hopefully we can help you at least reduce the wariness about deploying Android device in your environment. Okay. So before I leave the floor for Dawson, let me just set the scene a little bit. When we go to market with Teams Android devices, we have this security guidance that we ask all our partners to implement, right? I think it's documented here. I think you can find it in Microsoft document as well. It's very open, right? So first, the device needs to be configured as the Android kiosk mode. So what does it mean? It's actually you shouldn't be able to tamper with the device once it's already set up as a room or a phone, what have you, right? We don't allow people to sideload applications and things like that. So we want that to operate as a single function device. Use it as a meeting room device, or use it as a phone, use it as a panel, only one function as a kiosk device. And all application is to be signed using certificates, so we know it's trusted. It's actually not like a unsanctioned device, application get injected into the device. That's something that we ask all our partners to do. And no third-party applications, meaning that we don't have access to Google Play Store or Amazon Play Store, what have you. And that's enforced by everybody. Everybody needs to follow the same guidance, right? So the Android OS that they come to the market with should have all of those disabled. And I think because most of the partners are using the open source version, like a fork from the Android OS, they don't have Play Store access anyway. Okay, and I think this is actually one thing that we do as developers. When we do the development of the product, we use the ADB, the Android debug bridge enabled, because we need to do some additional logging. But once we type out the firmware before we go to market, we ask the firmware manufacturer today disable that ADB. Make sure that when we hand it to the customer, that ADB is disabled. Okay, and then I think this is something that we learn over time. Like initially it wasn't really enforced very strongly, but file system encryption is very important, right? So we mandated that all partners that go to market with the device, it must support encryption, and it must be enabled by default. From time to time, we have partners that actually slip their way of going to market with encryption disabled during the initial release of the firmware. But once we found out, and then Intune caught that issue, and we asked them to fix it. But I don't think I've seen this behavior happening with Yealink, so that's a good thing. But yeah, I cannot speak. But I think this is what happened in market, really, right? So that happens once in a while, but it shouldn't be the norm, unfortunately. Okay, and then we want customer to be on top of the OS version and security updates. And I think this is what actually the leading situation where, at some point, we will retire support for a lower version of Android OS. I think today with the phones, the Android OS 9 is like on the way out, and you need to be ready to upgrade it to 12, right?
We have already released the 12 version. Yeah.
Yes, I think Yealink recently released all the Android OS for the phones under 12, and for the meeting rooms, still Android 10.
10 and 11.
11 for the panel.
Next year is 13.
Yes, the 13 story is going to be interesting a little bit. Then we can talk more about that.
Yeah.
And security updates. So basically, we leave it to the firmware manufacturer, in this case Yealink, to make sure when they turn around with the updated firmware, all those security updates is included, right? We don't play any role in that. We just want to make sure that the partner is doing that. And all the security implementation should be implemented based on our reference design. And the other one is network security. They need to be able to implement things like what is that, 802.x, so that you have network access security, supporting proxy and things like that. That's something that all partners have been asked to do. But obviously, the implementation will be different from one partner to the other. Okay, so this is the golden rule that all partners need to follow. And now the question would be how Yealink is faring against those. And I will leave it to Dawson to talk about that.
Thanks to friends. I'm Dawson Kai, and I lead a product team dedicated for Microsoft Teams certified products. Yes. So today I was talking about how Yealink enhance the device security, especially for the Android-based team devices. This is the company. So the company was founded 2001. So in the last 22 years, we're very focused on the unified communication markets. So right now we are the biggest IP phone and SIP phone vendor, and globally we are the top 5 video conferencing vendor. And the company is an international company, so we have an office in the United States and also in Europe. And globally, right now, we got the 2,500 engineers, and half of them, about 1,500 engineers, are from the RD team. And I think about 70% of our RD resource is quite focused on Microsoft Teams certified devices, so that we can very quickly to update our software and also the hardware. Yeah. Yealink is also a public company, so the market cap right now is about $7 billion. So we are not so much small. Yeah. So of course, security is also always the top level of the company. From the products, you can see that right now, we got the one-stop Teams certified devices, including the Windows, from the small rooms to medium, large, and also Pro AV rooms, multi-camera solutions. Also, this year we bring the we call MVC S60 intelligent 360 cameras, which can very good to integrate with the Microsoft 365 Copilot. And for the run system for Android, actually Yealink is the first vendor to bring the Android video system to Teams. So in 2018, we already demo at that time they call the collaboration bar in Microsoft Ignite event, and we got the certification in 2020 in March. Yeah, so the Yealink video bar VC210 at that time is the first product to get a certification for Microsoft Teams. And right now you can see we have the full range of the MTR on Android products, including the A24 Teams display, and also an MTR device for the phone rooms. It means 1 to 2 people phone rooms, and also the A10 very entry level Android video bar to bring the customers same price before they want to use the BYOD. Then they can have the same experience for native Teams room. And also the A20, A30 for small and medium rooms. We also have the Android video ball, meeting ball for small to large rooms. And for Android device, we also have a scheduling panel, 10 inches, 8 inches. And also we have a full range of the Android Teams phones from very entry level to high end to video phones, and also the conference phones. So we are the first vendor for the Android Teams phone, and also the first vendor for the Android Teams MTR system. So the company created the Android device is in 2016. So we already get about more than 8 years in the developing and how to protect the security in Android device. I think the Windows-based MTR was launched in 2018, 2019, and it's Windows-based. And then go to the Android in 2020. But you can see that in recent years, the Android device, the new active Android device is going very, very. So 2 years ago, it's about 10 to 20% from the whole MTR pie. But you can see that the data every quarter it grows very fast. So right now, I think it takes about 55, even to 60. Different countries have different situation, but it's almost the 55% of the whole MTR system. So what's the benefit on MTR Android? First one is it's very simple. It's all in one device. No matter it's the Android video bar or it's the board, it's simple to set up. Second one is lots of people talking about the firmware update, because Android can put everything into one firmware. So it's quite simple from the firmware update, including the operating system update, the app update, and also the hardware drivers update in just one firmware, and also the price friendly. So you can see that more and more the customers, no matter it's from the SMC market or enterprise market, they choose some of the Android device in the small and medium size rooms. Yeah. But also bring the challenge to this kind of customers. They have some concerns about the security because compared to Windows, Android before, they don't think it's a very secure operating system, right? And second one is about the management, how to very good to enroll an Android device to the system. Yeah. So for the last 8 years of our experience in developing the Android device, so we can summarize that from this kind of 4 levels, we and also other OEM partners to secure the Android system. So first, this is not the normal Android version. Actually, every vendors, they also customize their own Android platform. So for example, our video bar, we use the Qualcomm chipset. So Qualcomm will give us the SDK. Then we do move some part we don't need in a Teams device. So we customize the OS and we lock down this product to the COSC mode. Yes, it means that we do not allow some illegal apps to run in our system. Actually, you can install what you want. So it's a lockdown device. Second one is in the kernel level or hardware level or driver level, we use the security enhanced SE Linux so that to ensure that the protection for the system, and also the secure wrap, and also the flash. This is the drive level, flash encryption, and also the file system encryption, and up to from the OS to the and hardware to then go to the network access security. So we use a lot of the network access, different to Windows. When you install a Windows system, these features, they're already there. But for Android, every vendors need to develop these features by themselves. So you cannot see these features in the standard Android operating system. For example, A021X to also authentication of the access to the system, and also some of them they will use the VPN to access to the company, and also the proxy. They use a lot in the Windows, but you need to develop this in Android, and also HTTPS for the web page. If you want to do some configuration to the device very simply, you use the HTTPS web to visit. And also the transport layer security. So we use the TLS 1.3. So this is the latest protocol. And for encryption for the media, we use the AEX 256-bit to do the encryption, and also the secure RTP flow. And in the application there, so for the big Android version, so from Android 9 to Android 11. Usually, every 2 years, we upgrade our products for the big Android version. For example, the phones before is Android 9. Then this year, we upgrade to Android 12. And for some of the products, for example, the room panel, then we upgrade to the 10. And for the Android video bar, right now we have the 11 version. Yeah. So next year, every 2 years, we upgrade the big version. And also the security patch, because every monthly, Google, if the version still in the support period of the from Google, you know that the usually one version. So for example, right now, Android 10 is end of the security support by Google. So usually it's 3 to 4 years. This is the life cycle of an Android version. So we, every 2 years, we upgrade the big firmware. And then every quarterly, we will have a new firmware update. So it will pack the security patch inside. So quarterly, we will have the security patches update and firmware update. And 2 years, we update the big firmware. Yeah. And this is also lockdown of the OS. It means that it is disabled for the customer and user system creators to install or remove of the apps, everything. In the past 2 years, Yealink we did lots of jobs to enhance our product security and also build the trust to our customers. So for the company level, we already built the inside security management system certification. For example, the ISO 27001 and also the SOC 2 Type 2 by Detroit. And also get a certification from GDPR. It's a Euro data protection certification. And also in the product level security. So for the Yealink Teams and Zoom certified products, we need to meet the requirement for Microsoft Zoom in hardware side and also the software side. So they got a lot of regulations, specs, in the hardware side. For example, for Windows, it's not just a normal mini PC. You need to have some chips like a TPM to ensure there's some encryption protocols to run. And for the Windows, for the Android part, there are more. And something new to the market is that so Windows is from Microsoft, but Android is from Google. But Microsoft, they have a team they call MDEP team. I don't know, maybe Agus can give more information of the MDEP. Okay. So Yealink next year, most of our Android device, especially for the Android MTR, will use Microsoft own customized Android platform to ensure the security and management can lead to the same level of the Windows.
Yeah. So I just want to expand on this a little bit. I think we announced this last year at Ignite, where we announced that another competitor of Yealink is signed up to what is called MDEP program.
Yeah.
So in technicality, what it means is actually Microsoft will build the Android OS distro for OEMs to implement on their hardware. Okay, it's going to start with Android 13. Because we cannot support all variety of devices in market. We're going to target only Qualcomm and MTK, MediaTek.
Yes.
Right, and Yealink already signed up for that program, so that's a good news, because I think when we announced it, there's only one partner that openly announced they're ready with that. But it is something that we offer as an option right now for the partners to take up. It's not mandatory as certification. So it's good that Yealink is taking that approach, because it means that can be more assured that whenever they deploy these Yealink devices, the OS is actually not something Yealink is fiddling around with. It's something that comes from Microsoft.
Yeah.
Right. We build that for them. I think the only addition component that the Yealink will contribute is actually the administration portal for the device. It's basically only to come to the device, right? And I think the current plan for management is actually to proxy it via our service. So it doesn't go direct to Yealink platform or what have you. It's actually going to come from Microsoft and then to Yealink backend. So that's the plan. And hopefully we can realize that early next year.
Yes. So in Q1 or Q2, the first product with the MDAP OS will come in. Yeah. And yeah, so for plus, most of the Yealink Team certified products also get the certification for June. Yeah, and it's quite difficult to get a certification from Microsoft or Zoom. Yeah, yeah. So they need to do a lot of check for your products, especially for the security part. Yeah, every certified product means already passed the check from Microsoft and Zoom also. But we do more. Yeah. So every new product, Yealink will going through GA to the market, launch to the market. We must send the product to the third party, industry leading, famous security lab for testing to see how is the security, to do the penetration, how this product is it safe, is it secure? Yeah. So every new product will take us more than $20,000 for every product. Yeah. But yeah, we do that. Yeah. For every new product. And then, and all of our customers, partners, they can download this report in the Yealink Trusted Center. So you can review the A10, the meeting board, the A24, the phones, yeah, the test report.
Yeah, personally, I get to learn that Yealink has been constantly updating this information as well. Because I know that there was an incident back in 2 years back where Yealink has a bad rap because I think their native VoIP phone got scrutinized because it was doing something that's not supposed to do. And Yealink take the, what do you call that, initiative to take up their product into this third-party reviews, right? And I thought it's only that time only. Apparently not. They keep on doing that. So that's a good thing.
And we also have our device. If the customer want to manage the Yealink device, they can get lots of options. For example, they can go to the Microsoft Teams Admin Center for management to do this. And they also can go to some third-party device manager provider, for example, your technology. And also they can use our platform, but it's on-premise, means the software is run their own data center. Or they can use our cloud service. And this year we migrate our device manager platform from to the Microsoft Azure service cloud, which is thinking as the enterprise level trusted and secure platform. Yeah, before it's in the Amazon AWS, and we only have a data center in United States and also in Europe. And end of the October, we will build a data center in Australia. Yeah, and you can see that also our device management platform, they already get the certification from the SOC 2, from the GDPR, and also get the yes in Sydney. You will be in Sydney. Yes, yeah. AMJ area.
So I think the deployment pattern we recommend partners to do is always with high availability setup, right? To be the Sydney, Melbourne, it won't be like a single zone, a failure zone, no way.
Yes, and yep. Okay. So there are lots of options for the customer or for our partners if they want to manage the Yealink device. And also for the supply chain, actually, because we want to provide the quality products to the market. So all the time we will choose the top level of the chip vendors, supply vendors, and also electronic components vendor from the market. So for our Windows-based solution, we choose the Intel chipset to run the Windows. And for the Android, we choose the Qualcomm to run the Android system. And for example, the image sensor, called a camera image sensor, we choose only the Sony sensor. And we also choose the TI for some controls, and also the NVIDIAs and also MXP. This kind of very top level chips vendors or electronics vendors as our supply chain. Yeah. And through this data, this picture, you can see that all the user data, no matter it's the accounts or when you're doing the meetings, the medias, they all go through the Microsoft secure tunnels. Actually, it do not go through the device. So for the Teams certified device, we will not what is the account, Teams account in this device. Yeah.
One last one.
Yes. So we provide this kind of documents, everything in our website. So we have the Yealink Trusted Center. And then if you any suggestion, any feedbacks, please feel free to contact us. Thank you.
All right. So thank you, Dawson. Okay. So based on that, do you think
this is a device
Yealink actually meeting all of that golden rules that we set up? Yeah. So yeah, I think just to show the case that, you know what, this is what it is. And yeah, I think so far Yealink has been meeting all the criteria that we want. Now, okay, the device is secure, but in Teams Android, how do I secure my deployment? So that would be like, okay, from Microsoft point of view, what do you think about these shared devices? Teams Room, common area phones, they're all shared devices and panels as well. And they shouldn't be treated the same as regular mobile phone, because I know they're running Android, but it's not the same as your mobile devices. So I just want to focus this conversation about shared devices as a Teams Room. I don't want to go over too much about something else, but maybe I'll touch a bit about Teams Panel. So Teams Rooms, yeah, I think the mission about Teams Room for us, it has to be inclusive, right? We want to cater for every requirements, hybrid, all in online, and especially all kind of use cases, and easy for use, easy for all. You know, like ideally, there's no need for what do you call that? End user guidance. You go to the panel, everything should make sense. I don't know. That's maybe I'm conflicted because I use it every day, but what have you seen so far? Do you think customer think that they still need to have some guidance? Plastered? Oh, that's the thing, right? So that's why if you have printed guidance, it will not last for long. They keep on changing stuff. But okay, that's not the point of this session though. It's about security. So flexible, you know, like I think Collab Bar was the first journey where we try to make it simpler to deploy these room devices. But over time, you know, customers have more requirements. I want to have more complex room, but I still want to have Android, not Windows. It's too hard to manage Windows for me for some reason. Okay, so that's why partners start building these new devices where you can have more flexibility in terms of deploying them. And as a design principle, all these shared devices need to be secured by default, right? I think on Android it's kind of simple in how to accomplish that, but for Windows, we had to take a lot of learn process to basically making sure that the device is secure for shared usage, shared space usage. Okay, well, I don't want to go over the same content again. And I think I already touched base about this, right? So integrated device, modular device, but I think okay, Android used to be integrated, Windows modular, but now the story is actually almost going back. You know, like Windows now become integrated solution as well, while Android now becoming also a modular device. So it's a full circle. Whichever your requirements are, then you can meet them whether Android or Windows. I think it depends on your requirements. I have customer that is actually very, very strong opinionated about, I don't want to deploy Windows. I want to use Android only for some reason. While I have another one that's actually on the reverse. So yeah, I think with all options available on the table, it's up for you to make the decision ultimately. Okay, so with Android, primary focus is to make sure that it can run as a meeting room solution, right? And the configuration would be as simple as possible. I think with PC210, we don't even have a touch console at the time. We only have a remote control, right? But customer requirements grow over, and then, oh, we want to have a touch console. And then now, hey, we want to start deploying all this touch-enabled panel. And we make that console as part of the panel instead, right? So I think we already gone that journey with Android device. And so basically touch console will be optional if you have touch panel. So, but you can still use both if you want to. It's up to you to make the decision, right? And I think we're gonna start supporting all kinds of displays, dual displays. 4K is up and coming. I think on the current device may not have the power to drive these 4K screens, especially two screens. But I think the upcoming hardware will be able to support that.
The Android meeting board already is 4K resolution.
Yes.
Yes, but the normal.
The camera itself is 4K enabled. The support for displays is 4K.
I mean the resolution.
Oh,
the app already is 4K.
Correct.
It's different to the Android video bar. Android video bar still 1080p.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. And Android OS currently, to be fair, Android OS 10 is the bare minimum, right? I think there shouldn't be any more in the market for MTR running
under
Android under Android 10.
Yeah.
That's why we have to end of life PC210, right? Because PC210 cannot upgrade beyond Android 9, so it has to go out of the rotation. All right. So just what do you call that? Take a sidetrack a little bit because it's also important, right? Teams panel, and some organization obviously have requirements to have this room panel outside of meeting rooms. And again, this is actually the same. What do you call that? Form factor is like a panel. It runs the same Teams Android device, and then basically it has the same security requirements, and it's built like a kiosk device. I think the only difference would be it has ability for you to add your custom application, right? So if you want to build application for, what do you call that? Ordering refreshments, for example. So you can build that app, inject into the panels, and make that available when people, before they use the meeting room, maybe they want to order coffee, cakes, what have you. You can build that. I'm sorry? Ah, well, I think expansion to the room will come very soon. All right. So this actually unlocks all the capability that you have in the room, right? So you have the auto check-in and then the occupancy sensor integration. So that's a lot of stuff going on with the room panel. So and it runs on the same account as the rooms, right? So in terms of configuration, it should be very simple on creating the account, securing the account for that. And you just get the hardware deployed outside, and it's actually part of the same license from Microsoft. Like if you have MTR Pro, it covers both the panel and the room as a single license. So why I'm talking about licensing in this security topic, there is a reason behind that. And again, when we design the license for meeting rooms, we want to make sure that it's actually meeting all the requirements to secure the device and how you deployed it. And I think in the old days, people try to get away from using the special SKU that we have for rooms, and they use personal license, E-plans, E3, E1, E5, but that's not the right license for you to use for the rooms. Like it's actually, that's why we created that MTR standard SKU in the past, and we, what do you call that? Move along, and we have MTR Premium, and now we standardize in MTR Pro and Basic. And The use for Pro obviously is actually designed for rooms, right? And the basic, if you can see on the right top side, so it only includes Teams, audio conferencing, and whiteboard. So actually, it doesn't have anything related to security. So if you want to secure the deployment, you really can't use MTR Basic because it lacks the Intune license. There's no Azure AD Premium license included. So that's the gap. So that's why you need to go with Teams Room Pro. And that's the only thing available in the market today anyway, right? Unless you're in the legacy stack where you still have the NPR standard. And we have Intune, we have Entra ID, and I think recently we backfilled this Microsoft Defender for endpoint. And the reason for that is actually for us to be able to start injecting the Defender into the Windows. Oh, Windows is already have Defender.
Yes.
But MDEP, the Defender for endpoint here is actually to help you monitor your deployments and how they are doing in terms of security assessment. And we're going to extend it to Android as well. And I think the upcoming firmware will have the Defender built in into the Android OS, right? So they can leverage the same capabilities that we have there. But for panels, because panels, if you want to have a standalone panel deployment where it doesn't have association with the MTR in the room, this is where the team shared device license come into play, right? And again, because we know that this is actually for shared device deployment, that's why we included this Intune and also Entra ID P1 license. That's why you can. That's how you can actually implement more secure deployment for the panel, standalone, or your meeting rooms with the panel. Okay. So when you create the resource account for the meeting rooms or the panels, and okay, a couple of things, because the same account needs to what we call sign in multiple times with multiple devices. One thing that you need to understand that hey, we have this standard limit of 5 sign-ins for devices in Azure AD. So sometimes you need to extend that so that it doesn't get situation where you sign out, you sign back in, and then you exceeded the limit and you get blocked. So that's something that you need to consider. And because the account need to sign in, your traditional resource account need to be Teams enabled. I think the account needs to be enabled so that it can sign it. Because typically like this, you have already a meeting room, and that room usually will have a resource account, resource mailbox, so that you can schedule and book the room. But because when you use Outlook, the room never actually sign into any service, right? By default, people kept on disabling the account, so there's no sign in, no password. But when you want to use MTR, you need to enable the account. You assign the license, you enable the account. Don't forget to reset the password because you need to know the password to sign in. Otherwise, you can't do it. Right, and then also because the license already included phone system, so and life easy, why not enable it for telephony as well? So then when they go to dial pad, they can dial out to somewhere, right? And because this is for meeting rooms, if it is a conversion from existing resource account, then typically it's already available for you to invite them. There's already like a, what do you call it, auto accept agent configured so that when somebody come in, invite the room, automatically accept it. If it is a not new account, then basically you need to set it up. I think we documented all these steps for you to use. And yeah, one of the other guidance obviously to use a naming convention. All right, so the way you configure it is either using Admin Center or PowerShell, and hopefully very soon we can use Admin Center Copilot to do that for you. You know, create the room account for this device, assign the license for me, so you don't have to do it manually. But this is how you have to go through today to get it running. Okay, so how do I secure this resource account? So this is where Intune come into play, and also what do you call that? Azure AD Premium come into play. Conditional access policy, right? So this is how you secure the device to make sure that the account that you have there, you can only sign in using a trusted network, for example, or a trusted device, So nobody can randomly use that account and abuse it and try to sign in using unsanctioned devices. And one thing that I think I want to call out, because this is not personal device, right? And you sign in one time, and the ideal world, you don't touch it any further. So multi-factor authentication is not really relevant, right? We want to make sure that whenever you set it up, that's something that you have to disable, actually a requirement for MFA for that account. Another thing is sign-in frequency. I think this is only relevant for personal device. Like I use my web to log on to my SharePoint portal, browser, and then I leave. After a couple of hours later, I have to sign in again. That's right for personal device, random access from any client. But for this device, it's already deployed in your premise. So sign-in frequency is not really relevant. So it also actually can break the MTR. So you need to make sure that you disable that. And this is the other part is actually the part is quite contentious, is do not enforce password expiration on the device. I think customers have a different opinion about this. Like some customer actually they got mandate from security that they need to have password policy with expiration. So it's either you work out with security to make sure that you can get exemption, or you have to deal with managing the security password change. And I don't know, Carlo, what have you seen with customer with that mandated security password changes?
So there are customers that they think they do, but the conversation needs to be around educating them that this is an appliance, not a PC, because password changes only make sense when it's a PC and a personal device. And it needs that utility, so it needs to. It's an education piece, and it's look. There are Windows. MTROA and Android devices in government, banks, defense. It's an extremely secure device with many ways to secure the account and some very solid ones. You just need to educate them on how to do that and why that's the best practice.
All right, thank you. All right, so I just want to skip because I think we're all the time. Just go to the summary. Okay, sorry about this. So this content is available free, publicly. We call it the Teams Room Playbook. Go look for it, and I think it's actually the same content. It's just concise for this session only. But I think to sum up, the key point that's important, licensing. It's very important that you have the right licensing to make sure that you can secure the resource account properly. I think there's no option, right? MTROA basic is free, but limited to 25. So I think we make it simpler for you to make a choice. There's only one choice, really. And resource account, because there's no support for password rotation, make sure that you get that hurdle across with the security team that they can allow this room to have a password account without password expiration. And yeah, enabling the Intune support for device administrator. I think we talk about that the portion that we skip. Like currently, because this device is actually not like a Google Play enabled, they still manage under the like a legacy administration model from Google that Google has retired actually. But it is what it is today until we move to the new Android OS 13. We're going to continue using device administrator model in Intune. But once we get to the point where we're ready to retire that model, we're going to start supporting what we call AOSP platform in Intune. So there's a more modern device management from Google that is supported under Intune. Then this is where we're going. So we're going to retire the requirement for device administrator. And other than that, conditional access is one way for you to further secure the account. Make sure that it cannot be abused external to the device or external from organization. I think that's all from me and Dawson. Hopefully it's giving you some insights of how we secure Android devices. And yeah, feel free if you have questions. So we are. So basically, there is a minimum OS version that can support that. We need to get to that point first. So I think the transition would be a lot of firmware need to upgrade to at least Android OS 12. And then once they get there, we'll have a period where we're going to use the new app called Authenticator versus Company Portal today. So there will be like a period where Company Portal will run side by side with Authenticator, and depending on how you manage it, you can switch between those two. And then in the future, no more Company Portal. No, it's not going to be under Enterprise because it's not applicable to this device anyway. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you.